Okay. So wind means a horizontal phenomena or a vertical phenomena. It's or both. Now three situations I have given. When we call wind, it is a horizontal movement of the air or vertical movement of the air or both. Anywhere it moves, then it is called wind. Right. Wind means horizontal movement of air. So wind system is nothing but it's an advection process. Which process? Advection process. Horizontal movement of air. Horizontal movement of air is said to be a wind. Definition will not ask, but it sense, right sense should be there for it. Horizontal movement of air is called the wind. Is defined as wind. Now, the question is, why the wind generate? If the wind is already flowing from A point to B point, what happened to it? What happened to it? क्या हो सकता है? There are two things. We may change the direction. One possibility is this. Second possibility is that strength may get reduced. That may change the direction or change the strength. Three things you must understand in the wind part is why the wind originates. Why does number one this part? Second is why wind change the direction. Why wind changes the strength. Strength means the speed of the wind. We able to answer this means you are going in the right direction. So any wind, why wind originates? If that original wind due to cause will give you original speed and original direction. Original direction will come and the original speed will come. This original speed and original direction get changed. Now these three things we have to explain. So any kind of change or any type of origin or movement is nothing but the same movement. Any movement or change in the movement, you are understanding what, look at my, any movement or change in the movement, either it started or changes, is caused by what? We want to change this position, I have to apply what? Force, otherwise it will not move. Isn't it or not? So Newton's first law is simply speaks that what? Right, any movement we require what? Right, force. Without force, nothing will. So entire wind system is a byproduct of three forces. One is called the PGF. Entire wind system is a byproduct of three forces. One is PGF, second is Coriolis force, third is frictional force. Simple, this is the formula. Any point, anywhere, if you find the direction, speed, strength, it's a combination of how many forces? Three. First is called PGF. Second Coriolis force. Third is called frictional force. The symbols I am using. First is pressure gradient force. Second is Coriolis force. Third is the frictional force. At any point you want to calculate the strength, direction, you have to combination all the three. First is called, I'm just defining it, first called pressure gradient force, second is called Coriolis force, third is called the frictional force, third is the friction, third is the frictional force. PGF, Coriolis forces, frictional forces. Okay, original wind, I'm just giving original wind for the first time. Original wind means the starting. The wind start because of what? PGF. It's a gradient. The wind always move from high slope region to the low slope region. Next, it changed the direction. Coriolis force. This is the Coriolis force. Change the direction. It will give you change the speed. Frictional force change the speed of the wind. PGF will start the wind with the original direction, original strength. then it will change due to two other forces. Change in the direction due to Coriolis, change in the speed due to the friction. Let me move in one by one detail. What is the first one? So wind, you might have written also by now. So force, wind is the byproduct of how many forces? 3. PGF, CF, and third is called, first is pressure gradient. Let me move on there. Pressure gradient force. First is called pressure gradient. First is PGF, pressure gradient force. So the pressure gradient name itself is suggesting gradient. You know the meaning of gradient, everyone? Okay, how the gradient you measured? Any place, height divided by what? Distance, isn't it or not? Suppose this is the height of a place and this is the distance. You want to find out the gradient between point A and point B. How to find out? This is called slope. The slope is nothing but this angle called gradient angle. You know this simple mathematics, everyone? Okay, fine. Suppose this point become closer. Slope will become what? Steeper. Isn't it or not? Okay, if the height become longer or taller, then again it will become what? Slope. The gradient angle becomes. Now keep this logic here. Now the gradient angle is where? Pressure gradient force. How the pressure gradient force arises? Now you know isobars. Already I said, if isobars are closely packed, that is high pressure. This is point A. If isobars are widely separated at the point B, we call low pressures, right? So now the wind, as for this, the grad and the distance between the point A and the point B is D. Distance between them is what called D, between 2 points. We already know that wind follows PGF. Air starts moving from downslope, like high pressure to the low pressure. This principle is wind follows PGF. Always remember, wind starts follows which? This is a simple law is. Always remember this sentence, wind follows the PGF. That means, what do you mean by this? Interpret the meaning of this. That it's two meaning. First is, wind moves from where to where? High slope to low slope. High pressure region to low, right. Wind flows from high pressure region to the low pressure region. That's the first interpretation. Wind moves from high pressure region to the low pressure region. So now question is, when it is moving, what is the original direction? Original direction is, look at this, wind is moving from high pressure to low pressure, like this is a wind. This is a wind moving from high pressure to low. What is the direction now? With respect to isobars. What angle? 90 degree, right. Original direction is perpendicular to the isobars. Original direction is what? They are making perpendicular to the isobars. Original direction. Next, original speed. Original speed of the wind. क्या होना चाहिए? So it directly proportional to what? Gradient. Directly proportional. If this slope is steeper, speed will be what? More. And if the slope is gentle, the speed would be low. Now it totally depending on gradient. Suppose the wind has to roll down high pressure to low pressure, totally depending on a gradient. Steeper slope will push the wind strongly actually. Original speed totally depending on this formula or amount of PGF directly proportional to the difference of the pressure and inversely proportional to the distance between them. Keep this in mind. Suppose pressure at point A is called PA, pressure at B is called PB. So how the height has been measured here? Height is nothing but difference between pressures. What is the distance? Now you're able to understand, everyone. So that means when wind would be moving very, very fast. Now think on this diagram. When the distance become what? Close. When the points are closer, speed become stronger. Next, when wind will be stronger? When the height means difference between pressures are more. Is it clear or not? So that means wind becomes stronger if the pressure differences is high or the distances are very close. Okay, now this will give you the original speed and original direction. What is the reason called? PGF. But we know wind never follows perpendicular to the isobars, and wind direct speed is not same. It keep on changing. Now second factor came into play. What is the second force? What is second force? Coriolis force, right? Second force now. Come on to the second force. Second force, we already know about this force in detail. Coriolis force arises due to what? Rotation of Earth. It's not a real, it is a fictitious force, pseudo force. So it is an apparent force, it is an apparent force given by, arise due to what? Right, arise due to rotation of Earth. Rotation of Earth appear to a person on the Earth. So it's given by which formula? Directly we are concluding V sin theta. So what is the role of this and what is the meaning of this? CV means Coriolis force. V means what? Velocity of wind, not Earth. V is the velocity of the wind. If this wind is stronger, more will be the Coriolis force. Theta is what? Angle of latitude. That means Coriolis force increases with what? Velocity. First condition. Next is it increases with increase in latitude. Angle, that means from equator to poles. From equator to poles, what happened to the Coriolis force? Increases. As we are moving from equator to pole, Coriolis force increases. So maximum is at poles and minimum is at Coriolis force. Coriolis force at this point, the equator is what called 0, minimum, and the maximum is at where? Right, is the maximum is here at the poles. So it increases from equator towards pole. Now we know this already. We know already this. What is this amount of Coriolis force? What is the role? What they will do? Right, deflection of the moving wind. So it leading to what? Deflection of moving wind system. This is the role. It leads to what? Deflection of the moving winds. So if it is moving stronger, it will more deflected. It's blowing on the higher latitude, it will more deflect. Where will be the more deflection will occur? More deflection in the higher latitude, more deflection if this velocity is what? Stronger. So deflection of the moving wind is higher increases from equator to pole and increases with the increase in moving velocity of the air. Now, so what is the final direction will come given by whom? Original direction is perpendicular. Next, Coriolis force is acting. So there will be a deviation, and deviation will give you final direction. What is the final direction given by which? Final direction given by which formula? Which law? Right, louder. Farrell's law. Now you already know in northern hemisphere deflection is towards right from the origin and southern hemisphere towards the left from the origin. From the wherever it's coming out, direction of the wind is very simple to identify. Take a start from the start. When you want to name the wind, always take it from a start. Suppose air is moving from like this, place your body like this, and northern hemisphere right, southern hemisphere towards the left. Now do this little exercise with me. Northern hemisphere, suppose this is the air. What is the deflection? What is the right? This is a deflection, isn't it? Okay, if this is the air which is moving like this, what is the deflection now? What is the right? This is a deflection. Written till here, everyone. Written till here, Farrell's law. Now, in northern hemisphere, what is the different situations possible? Now, if the wind is moving like this, what is the deflection in the northern hemisphere? Downward or upward? So if the wind is like this, what is the deflection now? Isn't it? So this kind of situation, if southern hemisphere is there, in southern hemisphere situation will get changed towards the left. Deflection is towards the left. So what is the left? This dotted line is indicating the left part. Suppose this is the wind. What is the left part? This part. Is it clear up to everyone? Any question? So these are all examples. Wind can deflect due to Coriolis forces. In northern hemisphere, deflection is coming like, I'm just thinking of the southern hemisphere is there, wind is coming from this corner of the room and moving to that corner. Okay, imagine the wind is blowing from this corner to that corner in this way. In southern hemisphere, this room is in southern hemisphere, and what is the deflection point is? It moved towards the left. And if it is northern hemisphere, deflection is this way. So this is the way you place your body and try to say left and right. Okay. So do not learn this. Okay. Again, the same mistake. Never learn the direction. How much you can mug it up? So this is no nothing. I said, so you draw like this. I draw like this. Draw like this. Draw like this. Draw like this. So it could be anything. So there is no unlimited. How many direction comes from a point? Jante ho? Okay. In Hindi, there is a saying, wherever you stand, 16 direction will emerge. How many direction? At any point. Suppose here also, every point will give rise to how many directions? 16 orientations. Okay, Shola and Disha, let's see this. This is the point. You first divide that point into two parts. This is what? North, this become south, this become east, this become west, and this become northeast, and this become right. Between southwest, this become okay. How many directions now till now? 4 into 2, 8. Now what? It is north of, this is what called? East of, it is to east, how to name it, the technique? East of, no, okay, got it. Now this, right, east of southeast. What is this called? What this direction? What this direction? What is this direction? What is this direction? North of north. Now count into 16. Any point you stand, you will create 16 orientation. That is the name of. Okay. So names are accordingly actually. When you say southwest wind, westerlies, easterlies, northeast, southeast, whatever you call, names are as per this diagram. This is a diagram called cardinal diagram, cardinal map. Cardinal map. Cardinal map is a directional map actually. It gives you the orientations. Cardinal sketch is this. So there is no point in mugging up that this diagram. If you miss all, there is no issues. But if you have the logic of from how to name a wind, never you will get wrong. Okay. Now, types of wind. Now apply this, all this notion, cause, okay, third one more is there. Two forces we have done. One is called PGF, second is called what? Okay, Coriolis force. Third is what? I forgot it. Frictional force. Frictional force. Frictional force. So, now, name itself is suggesting what should be the nature. Friction means what? It's a retarding, supporting, increasing, decreasing. Right. Nature of this friction is to stop the moving air. So, it's a nature of all kind of friction is, it is a retarding force. It's a retarding force. It decreases the speed. That means speed of the wind in this case will get reduced. So, and the amount of decrease is determined by the force. And who will determine the friction? Friction depend on what? Nature of the surface. And surface means degree of like smoothness and the roughness. Degree of what? Smoothness and the roughness is there. So, how much area is rough or how much it is smooth? It is rough surface is there. Naturally, friction will more. If smooth surface is there, then it will be what? So, we cannot say actually. It is very difficult to say what is the nature of the surface. So, this will produce a variation in the speed. Produce variation of the wind speed. It produces variation in the wind speed is produced by what? Friction, and friction arises due to nature of the surface. So, we cannot, so generally for global winds or the regional winds, if you study, you neglect which factor? Frictional forces. So, but it do act. It do is act. So, role is this is retarding, decrease the wind speed, decreases the wind speed. Now, apply all these three forces together and it will give you the total wind direction strength would be determined by what? First is called which one? PGF, second is what called Coriolis, third is called, so at any moment you can find out this wind speed, direction, strength, everything. So, this will give you the final formula. Add all, you will get this final result. Okay. Now, the types or classification of wind. Now, the second part, I have given the cause of wind. If you want to say cause of wind, origin, change in the direction or change in strength, always three reasons. PGFs, CF and FF, that is frictional forces. Now, come to the classification part. After the cause of the wind origin, is the classification of wind. How we can group the different types of wind. Classification of wind system. Classification of wind system. Classification of wind system. How the winds classified? Like, now look at here. Just be practical when you're appreciating this. Okay, this is a ground, and this is upper atmosphere. This ceiling is understood as what called upper, we call tropopause. Okay, if air is touching the ground, we call surface wind. If it is touching the upper atmosphere, called upper atmospheric wind. The wind is not a vertical phenomenon. Wind is all, since PGF is a horizontal phenomena, so wind is a horizontal phenomena. So can the air which is moving upward or moving downward, can we call it wind? No. So wind is either on the ground like this or in the upper atmosphere like this. So that both are horizontal to the surface. Is it clear? And any air which is moving like this is not called wind. So that means you, on the basis of location, we can say wind could be grouped in two parts. One is on the ground, or second is in the upper atmosphere, called upper atmospheric wind. With upper atmospheric wind, that is upper atmospheric wind which is touching the troposphere. Okay, upper part tropopause, along with the tropopause that is flowing, it is not touching the ground. So it consists of three winds in your syllabus. There are 3-4 types, but only one we will be doing, jet streams. Which one? Jet streams. So other is anti-trade winds, anti-westerlies, anti-easterlies. So that is not a part. Under atmospheric circulation you can do this. Only this you have to study. Next, which touches the ground. Which touches the ground and flows. Okay, surface wind. That winds are called surface winds. Very simple logic, surface winds. No. So when the surface wind, on the basis of time scale, they have been grouped into 3 categories: primary winds, then is changes in the primary will produce secondary winds, and changes further within the secondary will produce tertiary wind system. On the surface, the grouped into primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary, 3 categories. Primary means original winds. The changes in these will produce secondary. Changes in this part, so which is global level, right? Global winds are this, which is a regional wind, which is a tertiary local winds. Now you are getting me? So at different levels the wind has been grouped. At the global level, that's called global wind system. At the regional level, called as secondary or the regional wind system. At the local condition called local wind systems will generate. Now, so this will call differently. So now this is called seasonal or regional. Now we talk about this first. Global wind system arises due to global pressure. So 3 types under that. 0 to 30 degree called trade winds. 0 to 30 degrees called what? Tropical areas, which winds blows? Tropical areas with 0 to 30 degree latitude, which winds blows? Just remember why, you will understand the map completely. In 0 to 30 degree called trade winds in tropical areas, and 30 degree to 60 degree in the temperate areas. In the temperate regions, the wind is called what? Westerlies. And 60 degree to 90 degree in both the hemisphere, these are polar areas, polar regions. For higher latitude, the wind is called easterlies. So these winds are called global wind system or permanent wind system. This primary is also called a permanent type. Permanent or planetary wind, all are same. Planetary wind system, permanent wind system, planetary wind system. Okay, or global winds, all are same. So only three. Tropical areas called trade winds, temperate areas called westerlies, and polar region called easterlies. Though these are global type, permanent, so they flows all throughout the year in the same direction. They flows throughout the year in the same direction. So these are annual winds. These are all called annual, that flows all throughout the year. They're consistent throughout the year, guys. They flows in the same direction. One part. And the regional which changes here, that is called seasonal winds. All the seasonal winds you can put. All the seasonal winds are regional type. Seasonal, that means they change the direction within 6 months. They change the direction with summer and winter season. 6 months it flows in one direction, and the next 6 months it reverses the direction. So seasonal winds are two types we already talked, monsoonal wind and Mediterranean winds. Seasonal wind, those wind that change the direction within 6 months time, summer and winter. Reversal of wind with the season. Seasonal winds are those winds that reverse the direction with summer and winter season. Within 6 months they change the direction or orientation. Permanent wind do not change the direction. Seasonal wind change the direction with season. Was it written till here, everyone? Okay, I am rubbing this for some part. So, see, now, so secondary wind is what called seasonal wind. Seasonal wind are those winds that reverse their direction with season. Here, wind reverse the direction with summer and winter season. Summer and winter. In summer they blows in one direction, in winter just opposite. Seasonal reversal of wind is taking, so this flows maximum in one direction. How many months? 6 months. That's called semi-annual winds. This is not annual winds. All the seasonal wind is what? Semi-annual type. Semi-annual in nature. So when they reverse the direction with the summer and winter, there are two conditions, two examples. What are the two examples? One is called monsoonal winds. Second is called Mediterranean winds. Okay. Now third. Now next case is tertiary winds. Next case is what called tertiary wind. That means here it is changing direction 6 months. Here timing is so frequently changing here. Timing is too frequently changing, even independent of time. So tertiary winds, all the local winds actually, all the local winds is called tertiary winds. So it include cyclonic wind, tropical cyclone, temperate cyclone, all kind of cyclonic winds. It include anticyclonic wind, cyclonic wind, anticyclonic wind. Even it include the light wind that blows, or the local breeze, different types of breeze, land breeze, sea breeze. Example is what? Land breeze, sea breeze, mountain breeze, valley breeze, whatever it is. Different types of gentle winds. Example like land breeze and sea breeze, mountain breeze, valley breeze, all these are there. Okay. Next is warm and local winds. Warm and local winds. Warm and local winds. So what is local wind on the basis of temperature could be grouped in two categories: warm local winds and cold local winds. So all is a part of local winds. So they are independent of time duration. We don't know when it is changing and how much time it will take. So breezes are land breeze, sea breeze. So all this is a what classification part. hold on, we are just given the classification map. Now, why they are arised? First is global wind system. Next is what called global wind system or permanent. I'm giving the reasons now. Classification is clear. So this is the detailed topic. Rest are smaller part. Now the planetary winds or global wind system. Now, global wind system or permanent wind system or planetary winds. Planetary winds arises due to what? Arises due to global pressure belts. Arises due to what called? Global pressure belts of the earth. So this we call planetary wind is nothing but called global wind system. So global wind system arises due to what called global pressure belts. We already know on the previous map, if you remembered, from North Pole to South Pole, how many pressure cells are there? And redraw it, all the 7. Equatorial lows, subtropical highs, subpolar lows, and the polar highs again. Called subpolar lows, polar highs. Is it clear? So it's nothing, it's a repetition of the pressure cells only. So now observe this tropical areas, guys. Observe this tropical area. Now in tropical area, what happened? Tropical areas means 0 degree to 30 degree in both the hemisphere you can see. So wind always move from high pressure to low pressure. So air is going from high pressure to low pressure. That is from 30 degree to 0 degree. You know that when it is moving, your by Coriolis force is deviated towards the right in northern hemisphere, towards the left in. Okay, now wind is moving from here. If you look at it north, I'm on north, 30 degree to 0 degree wind is moving. In this northern hemisphere, it deviated towards the right. Now straight deviated towards the right. Make little direction. What is the orientation now? What is the name should be given to this? So it is coming from this direction. So the name is very easy. This is north, this is east. So name is what? Northeast trade wind. Called northeast trade wind. Called northeast trade wind. Is it clear? From center you have to divide that arrow into 4 parts. You can get your direction clear. Okay, here would be what? Deflection is towards the left. Again, start moving like. What is the direction? Come on, it started. It's coming from here. What is the direction now? Wind is named from the origin. So now its name is what called? South East trade wind. Okay, any doubt? Now observe in the, so here in tropical areas one very much clear. In northern hemisphere we call what? Northeast trade wind. In southern hemisphere we call southeast trade wind. Fine. But in the temperate world, temperate region we have to say it. Temperate region means 30 degree to 60 degree in both the hemisphere. So what is the situation here? Now, wind move in northern hemisphere from high pressure to low. But okay, due to Coriolis force, deviation is towards the which direction? Right. But it is higher region. So deviation further increase and it become like this. And the orientation is roughly from west to east. So its name is given as what? Westerlies. Blowing starting point is from west. That's what the name is given is called westerlies. Temperate region of wind blows called westerlies. Here also in southern hemisphere, deviation is towards the left. Its left is what? Okay, right. Wind is moving deviated towards the left. Come on. I am giving 30 to 60 only. No, deviation is originate from west part, moving towards east. Here also we call westerlies. Same. No difference. Okay. Wind southern wala part. Okay. Both. Here is, if you observe this, wind moves from high pressure to low pressure. It is moving like this. Okay. Now, in southern hemisphere, deviation is towards left, deviated towards left. And the deviation amount is increases with increase in latitude. So, it is become more deviation. Earlier time only this incline, more than that incline, it become roughly west to east. So, name is given. So, similarly here also. Anyone else have a problem? Okay, now observe. Okay, temperate region, the wind called both the hemisphere is same. Name is given as westerlies. Okay. Now in the polar region, from 60 degree to 90 degree in both the hemisphere. 60 degree to 90 degree in both the regions, what? Okay, now again apply this principles, guys. High pressure to low in northern hemisphere, deviation was the right, but it is increasing, deviation is increasing. So it can move like this. What is the name given? Moving from east to west called easterlies. Polar region is easterlies. Now in southern hemisphere similarly it's deviated towards the what called left. So left part is this part. So again it is called easterlies. Deviation is towards the left and increases further. So now in the polar region, the wind blows commonly called easterlies. So who is stronger in terms of the speed is? So naturally, when you are moving from equator to poles, wind strength is on increase. Keep this in mind. Why? In general statement, I am saying if you move from equator to the poles, wind speed increases. Why? No. Theta does not have an impact. It's only deviation. Come on here. Should be very technical mistake. Coriolis force will not change speed. Coriolis force only changes direction. There is no role of Coriolis force. Friction. Achha. Poles mein friction will be increased. In the equator, friction will be less. So it is illogical. That means now think from another. That is from these two laws. You are not able to understand what you are applying now. Coriolis force you applied, friction you applied. Now that means look at the dimension. You know, if you look at the geography, circular part, this area has to cover large. But in the pole, the area covered is, so distance PGF, distance, first law itself. Forget. The distance between the pressures are what? Less. If you go higher and higher, the pressure cells or isobars come closer. So the wind speed increases with increase in latitude. You got this? So which among the three winds, Trade wind, westerlies or easterlies, which is faster? Easterlies are stronger. Then is this, then is. And which is the slowest? Right, which is at equator, you know, this is slowest. That's called doldrum. The meeting point become what? Doldrum means the slowest, very gentle wind and strongest. Okay, that is, okay, trade wind is called ITCZ, right here. The meeting point is called what? It has a great role, ITCZ. ITCZ means intertropical convergence zone, or ITF भी बोलते हैं, that is also called ITF. Two names are there. One is called from wind point called intertropical convergence zone. Which two winds are meeting? Northeast trade wind meets with, that's called ITZ. Great. It is also called intertropical front. ITF means what? Intertropical front. ITF. Okay. There another meeting point is also there. Where is coming from opposite direction, try to meet. One location is this. If you look at this, 60 degree, this is also a meeting zone. One wind come from west, another come from east, they can meet. But it's not wind completely, they can go parallel also. Meet also some look. This is called polar front. Its location is called what? Called polar front. You know, one more point of meeting is possible. You know, at this point, 30 degree as well as 60 degree jet streams arise. That is the next part. Okay, meeting point of the ground is what? Polar front at 60 degree or 30 degree also some situation will again subtropical front will generate. At 0 degree is what? ITZ. See, meeting points are cleared. 0 degree is called what? ITF or ITCZ. 30 degree called subtropical front and 60 degree called polar front. ITF, subtropical front, polar front. This all. I think I done the global winds with you.